Okay, now that we can populate our database, what I want to do is display the cards on the screen. So we need to pop over to view.php, and the first thing we need to do is find the query statement, because we're not going to take our information from the comments table, we're going to take it from comments to our new table. Now this is going to be a bit tricky, and it's going to be easy to lose yourself in the code. So I'm going to try to use sort of indentation to help see where things are. If you do get lost and things don't work, just pause the video on the screen, on this screen, and then carefully go through all of your lines and make sure if they're in the right place. I'm probably going to make a mistake as well, but we'll give it a go. The first thing I want to do is get rid of all the table stuff, apart from the very first line. So I'm going to leave div class table responsive small alone, and I'm going to delete everything else up to the while statement, and then I'm going to close that up. So that's all I have done, is just deleted the table information. So I want this to be my cards container, so I'm going to give it a class name of card deck. You'll find this on the Bootstrap 4 page, so you can follow through on there on the tutorials what is happening here. However, because I have set that as a starting div, what I'm going to do is indent everything that is going to be in the container, and everything that's going to be in the container is whatever's in the while loop. So first of all, let me delete these two lines. So that's got rid of all the table, and I'm just left with the start element for the div and the end element down here. And what I'm going to do is indent. So I'm going to highlight all of the while loop right down to its end curly bracket. I'm going to press tab so that you can see clearly that this div and this div match, and that is the card deck. So there's the first big move. You don't need to do any of that, it just makes it a lot clearer. And really I'm going to get rid of everything that isn't part of a table row at the moment. So I can get rid of this line where it says table row, and get rid of the blank. I can get rid of that line, and I'm just left with two lines which indicate which row we're on, or which row we're reading from the database. Now what is happening, I'm going to go through it in code terms. So if we fetch information from the database, we need to display it in cards. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually set up each individual card. This does not set up each individual card. This just says the whole thing is a card deck. So if you can imagine a pack of cards, that's really what it's saying. Now I need to do each individual card as I go through. So this fetches one row from the database, one comment from the database each time. So I want all of that information to appear on one card. So I'm going to set up the card now. So I'm going to say echo, double quote, and my semicolon to make sure I don't make a mistake. And I'm going to set up the style of the cards. So I need a div, and the class is going to be of type card. So single quote marks. But I'm going to set the width of the card. So the style is going to be equal to width, and each card is going to have a maximum size of 200 pixels. There we go. I think, oops, missed something out there, missed a speech mark out there. So that is setting up each card. Now, I need to sort of have my end div with this one. So it's just before the end of the loop. Whoops, press enter, the wrong place. So if I go here, press enter, and type echo, and end my div there. And what I want to do is indent everything that is on that div, which is just the 2 rows. So I'm going to indent those. So it's a card which is going to contain a name, it's going to contain a comment, and actually we're going to deal with the gender as well. So that's quite hard, knowing where you're putting things. Be careful. Don't worry if you get it wrong now. If it doesn't work on the screen, come back and you should be able to see where everything goes later. Now I do need to know what kind of card that I'm putting on the screen. Is it going to be a male one, or is it going to be for the female one? So the first line of code that I'm going to write before I pick up the row information, in fact it's going to be a long way before that, I'm going to check that if, and I'm going to open and close a set of curly braces. I'm going to check the gender. So if the row, the data in the row, the gender field, so 2 square brackets and then gender in between those, so that is the gender field. If that is equal to double equals an M, then I have got, or I want, a male card. So I need to go and pick up the male card from the file system. So I'm going to echo out an image. Let's close that tag now before I forget. And the image is going to have a style, it's going to have a class, and it's going to be card image top, and then we're going to have where it lives, so the source is going to be equal to, now remember I renamed mine, you might not have done. This one was called mail.png. You may have kept your avatar. If you do, whatever your file is called, it has to go here. So I've got, I'm setting up the card with the image, and finally I'm going to set some other things. So if the file is not there, if it's broken, if it's a broken link, I'm going to say what it should replace it with. And I'm just going to type card image. So you can test this out by actually deleting or renaming the file. If you see the words card image, it hasn't worked. If you see the picture, you've got it working. And I'm going to change the style of the card to have a width of 100%. So it's going to fill the screen or fill the area. Width equals, oh, too many quote marks. What have I done there? Style width equals 100%, and then close off my comment. So that should be it. That should be the card for the male. And I think you can see that the card for the female is going to be very, very similar. So I need an else statement, open curly brackets, and give myself some space, and I'm going to copy this rather than type again, I'm going to paste it there, and I'm just going to type female for the card type. Now that has set up our two images. We just need to figure it out which one we're going to display, which is this line here. It's going to check if it's male. It's going to show the male image. If it's not male, it's going to show the female image. If you've used other, this is not going to work. We need a different method for it. So if you've got 3 different genders, then you're going to need a different way of doing this. I've only chosen 2. The if-else statement works nicely. I'm going to save it there, and I'm going to move on to the next video where we're going to think about how we display the data on the card.